All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here again, talking real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. All right, so this video is kind of like a TMZ video. I hate to do this, but Valerie Bertinelli is back, and she's saying some crazy and interesting things. And then I'm going to add some information that I cannot confirm, but I've heard it through the grapevine. Okay, I've heard it. Yes, the Motown moment. I've heard it through the grapevine, but I'm just letting you know, full disclaimer, can't confirm that it's true or not, but I've heard it. So Eddie Van Halen's ex-wife, Valerie Bertinelli, is promoting her new book, which is called Enough Already: Learning to Love the Way I Am Today. Okay, and she's talking to the Mick paper called USA Today. It's like McDonald's, and it's probably just as healthy to read USA Today as it is to eat large quantities of food from McDonald's. She says, I wasn't expecting to write a book about grief when I started it, but I was in the thick of it. She said it actually ended up being very cathartic to write about it. Regarding her relationship with Eddie Van Halen in the years after, let me say that word again, after they divorced, Valerie said, Ed and I grew even closer together after the divorce. We couldn't live with each other, but we found it impossible to live completely apart. Keep in mind, both of them got remarried after the divorce. I can't make people understand this, especially me, Valerie. If you're so heartbroken, and if Ed is so heartbroken, why do you remarry other people? Just putting it out there. Even through all of the horrible stuff that we did to each other, well, I heard that it was mostly Ed doing certain substances and you just didn't want to be around that. That's what you've said in the past. So now she's kind of admitting that horrible stuff that we did to each other. Okay, so it was a mutual thing. There were so many more good things. I don't just feel like I've ever been loved like that, in that way, from anybody else. So again, Eddie Van Halen, super duper love way up here. Nobody else comes close, not her husband from a few months ago, which apparently the divorce went through on that. I just feel a connection with Ed that I've never felt with anyone else. Okay, then you probably should have tried to stay with him. Just putting it out there, but that's my opinion. Again, a little speculation here, a little Dr. Phil. Love isn't a big enough word for the feeling that Ed felt for me and that I felt for him, she added. Bertinelli split with Van Halen in 2002 after 21 years of marriage. They officially divorced in 2007. Eddie then went on to marry Janie Liszewski in 2009. Janie, by the way, has completely been forgot about, and I do have something to say about Janie and Eddie. I will put that on the end of this video here. So Eddie then went on to marry Janie, while Valerie also remarried, tying the knot with Tom Vitale in 2011. Valerie told People magazine that both marriages were struggling before Eddie's death. She eventually filed for separation from Vitale in November of 2021. All right, so they go on to say, on the day of Eddie's passing, Valerie shared a photo of her, Eddie, and Wolfgang, taken while Wolfgang was still a toddler, and she included the following message. 40 years ago, my life changed forever when I met you. You gave me the one true light in my life, our son Wolfgang. Through all of your challenging treatments for lung cancer, You kept your gorgeous spirit and that impish grin. I'm so grateful Wolfie and I were able to hold you in your last moments. I will see you in our next life, my love. Okay, so Valerie Bertinelli files for divorce from Tom Vitale in November of 2021. All right, so very recently, her and Vitale are done. It says she filed for separation in November of 2021, so a couple of months ago. Now, I've heard through the grapevine, and I cannot confirm this, and maybe the folks over at TMZ or some other source can get on this, because if it's true, it's kind of a bombshell, that Eddie and Janie were also in the process of separation at the time of Eddie's passing. Now, again, if you want to know my source, I cannot divulge my source. I can only tell you that is what I've heard. It may or may not be true. This would speak volumes in this entire situation, and it might explain a little bit more than, you know, the current prevailing knowledge, which is this is just kind of weird how Valerie Bertinelli is so close to Eddie, even though they got divorced, even though they both got remarried. The whole thing to me is just weird, but it wouldn't be as weird if Eddie had a falling out with Janie. I don't know if that's true. Janie didn't say anything. Maybe she didn't want to. Maybe at this stage, she's just fed up with all of this. She's basically like a footnote in all of these stories, like she doesn't exist. Maybe she got strong-armed by Valerie and Wolfgang. Maybe. I don't know. Look, I don't even know if this is true. The only reason I mention it is with all of this coming out, it kind of makes sense to me that maybe things weren't good between Janie and Eddie, and Valerie had moved in again to try to solidify that relationship, even though she probably knew Eddie wasn't going to be around for too much longer. So some just crazy stuff. And it is weird, even if that information is true. It's so weird how, okay, you love the guy, you should have stuck with it. You should have got counseling rather than divorcing and then remarrying, right? And in 2021, you're like, see you later to the other guy. Now, the other guy probably got fed up with her talking. I would imagine if I were that guy, I'm like, why do you keep talking about your late ex-husband so much? Why is he so much a part of your life? Because at that point, you realize you're in that relationship and you're saying to yourself, well, I certainly can't top that guy, so maybe we shouldn't be together. You know, it's just kind of awkward, sort of weird. And I've been saying this throughout, even since the beginning when she started talking. I'm talking about Valerie Bertinelli. After Eddie passed, I found it to be strange. I found it to be weird. So if we do learn that Janie and Eddie were separating while Eddie was pretty sick, that's going to raise some interesting questions as to why that happened. And did Eddie have anything to do with that? Or were there people who were influencing him and doing things for him behind the scenes that he did or didn't approve of? Maybe he did approve of it. We don't know. It'll be interesting to find out that information. And I'll let you know if I hear anything a little bit more solid. But for the rest of you reporters out there, you people with, you know, large budgets and so forth, you should kind of dig into this issue, because I think you're going to find some very interesting information. That's all I'm going to say.